Ryan Fitzmagic, are you kidding me? What is going on, y'all? Five Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL, and here to talk about quite possibly the biggest surprise that we have seen so far in week one of the 2018-2019 NFL season, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by their savior, Ryan Fitzpatrick, aka Ryan Fitzmagic, just absolutely going into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans and smacking the Saints in the face for 4 touchdowns and 417 yards. Like, are you kidding me, folks? This was by far to me the most surprising performance. To see the Bucs do that to the Saints, I mean, this probably had the biggest spread out of all of the games this in week one. I think the spread ended at about -10 in favor of the Saints, and obviously have to admit, was all over it. I thought the Saints were going to rout the Bucs. I thought without Jameis Winston, you take a look at the fact that the Bucs defense is porous. You take a look at the fact that they are starting Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I'll get into that in a second. And you take a look at the fact that it's Drew Brees at home with Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, and I just thought it was setting up for a rout courtesy of the Saints, but it ended up happening courtesy of the Bucs, okay? And real quickly, like I said, with Ryan Fitzpatrick, 21 for 28, 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, total, 1 on the ground. I think he had a perfect passer rating, 156.3, I think 158, so very close to a perfect passer rating. Mike Evans, 7 catches for 147 yards and a touchdown. Deshaun Jackson went off for 5 catches for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. The rookie Chris Godwin also caught a touchdown. O.J. Howard had a couple good catches. Everybody was prospering today because Ryan Fitzpatrick played like Ryan Fitzmagic. And it's sort of the Nick Foles syndrome, where you have these guys like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, like a Nick Foles, who play well in spurts. They have so much variability, it's hard to tell when they're going to show up. For the large part, if you take their sample size of data, you will say that they are average quarterbacks. But their peaks and valleys are much higher than traditional average quarterbacks. So we saw Nick Foles play the 2 greatest games of his life, in the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, and we see Ryan Fitzpatrick have games like this, but this was quite possibly the best game of his entire life. And he had a season a couple years ago with the Jets where he played extremely well. We see guys like Joe Flacco when he goes to the Super Bowl that year and has 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and then we see the regular season that he's had over the past couple of seasons. Eli Manning, another perfect example. So guys like that have that variability, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is one of them, and this is why Vegas makes the money that they do. Everybody betted on the Saints, including myself, like I said, and no one saw this coming. Even though the Saints almost had a chance to come back here, Drew Brees had a Drew Brees type of game, 37 for 45, 439 yards, 3 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, I mean, this guy is more receiver than running back, because he had 9 catches for 112 yards, just 8 rushes for 29 yards on the ground, but his receiving ability is out of this world, out of this freaking world. 2 touchdowns for him. I believe Michael Thomas, 16 catches, 180 yards, and a touchdown. So the Saints offense did what they were supposed to do. It's the Saints defense that forgot to show up, and that is what I want to talk about. Is I know it's week one, I don't want to overreact, but did we put too much credit into the Saints defense this year for improving with, Marshawn Lattimore, the rookie they drafted, Marcus Davenport, and what we saw at the back end of the 2017 NFL season when their defense was improving? And if you remember, the Saints defense for the past 2 years was very porous, and I used to pick on them all the time when I would play daily fantasy. By the way, you should go ahead and sign up for that. Link for my FanDuel down below. Go ahead and sign up for FanDuel and play against me in daily fantasy. But basically, I used to pick on the Saints defense all the time, and now we see Ryan Fitzpatrick shred this Saints defense. So is it time to say that the Saints defense is not as good? Look, I'm going to chalk this up to Ryan Fitzpatrick tends to do this once in a while, and I don't think the Saints defense is this bad, but I will drop them down a notch to where I will say that their defense is not as good as their offense. Their offense is elite. Their defense could probably be average, maybe above average, but right now I'm just giving him average, okay? And props to Ryan Fitzpatrick, who popped off. And another key thing to keep in mind here, folks, Jameis Winston's due back from his suspension in 2 more games, right? If Ryan Fitzpatrick keeps playing like this, Jameis Winston's not getting his starting job back. I'm dead serious. You guys might be thinking, Fiz, you're crazy. He's the #1 overall pick we're talking about here. It's going to happen, folks, because you know what? Dirk Cutter and the coaching staff of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they were asked if Jameis Winston's going to get his job back for sure after his suspension, they didn't confirm it. Now, I know that might be coaches talk, but again, if a guy's playing like this, I don't care who you are, you don't bench him, okay? But with Jameis Winston's, history off the field, with his turnover proneness, with everything else combined, I think you could see that happening. So let's see what happens with Tampa Bay. Surprise victory in Week 1. I'm going to be going over my picks after Week 1 is fully finished and complete, and I'll recap everything. And I'm probably just going to make another video where I recap all of Week 1 games instead of doing separate videos for separate games, unless you guys want me to do that. So let me know in the comments down below. How do you guys want me to break down the games? I usually want to just break down the big surprise games, of course the Bears games as well. Or do you guys want me to just make a video where I talk about pretty much all of the games and give my thoughts on it and really go into more detail there? Okay, so let me know down below. But again, shout out Ryan Fitzmagic. I believe in Fitzmagic. Let me know what you guys think about this dub by the Bucs. Leave a comment down below. If you guys agree with my take or disagree, make sure to follow me on my social media. And as always, thanks for watching.